Right then, Tricky Trees faithful, buckle up, because what I'm about to tell you will have you questioning everything you thought you knew about this transfer window. 4 massive developments have hit the city ground in the last 48 hours. And I'm not talking about your typical summer speculation. No. This is the kind of news that changes seasons, that shifts the entire trajectory of our club. We're talking about deals that could see us competing with the very best, controversies that have rocked the football world, and decisions that will define Nuno's project for years to come. First up, there's an attacking midfielder, a silky smooth playmaker who's been turning heads at the Etihad, and let me tell you something, he's about to call the city ground home. The fee? It'll make your eyes water in the best possible way. Then we've got a winger situation that's got Leeds United fans absolutely fuming. Imagine missing out on your primary target and watching Forest swoop in like vultures. The transfer fee we're talking about? North of £28 million. 28 million for a player who could transform our attacking threat completely. But it's not all sunshine and roses, is it? There's a pundit, a certain former Manchester United defender who's found himself persona non grata at our beloved city ground. The row has escalated beyond anything we've seen before. And the club's response? Well, let's just say Gary Neville won't be getting his press credentials anytime soon. And finally, there's a left-back situation brewing. Liverpool are open to business, and guess who's sniffing around? That's right, us. The player in question has been a reliable servant at Anfield, but with new signings pushing him down the pecking order, opportunity knocks for Forest. Now, before I reveal every single detail, I need to ask you something. What would you rather have? A guaranteed starter who's proven at this level, or a young talent with world-class potential but no Premier League guarantees? Think about it, because this question is about to become very relevant. Hit that like button right now if you want to see Forest make a statement in this transfer window. And drop a comment. Seriously, I want to hear from every single one of you about which of these moves excites you most. The first revelation is going to blow your mind, and it involves a player Pep Guardiola desperately wanted to keep. He's the kind of player that makes Pep Guardiola lose sleep at night. A creative force who can unlock any defense in the Premier League. A technical wizard who scored 7 goals despite getting fewer than 1,000 minutes of first-team action. The lad who Sheffield United fans still rave about. The one Manchester City promoted straight to their first team because his talent was simply undeniable. I'm talking about James McAtee. And Forest have just pulled off the signing coup of the summer. According to reliable journalist Ben Jacobs, we've reached a complete agreement with Manchester City for McAtee's signature. Not just the club-to-club deal, the player has personally agreed terms with the Tricky Trees. This is happening, and it's happening fast. We're talking completion by the end of this week. 22 years old, a product of City's academy since childhood, and a player who's been courted by multiple top clubs across Europe. But here's what makes this deal absolutely sensational. McAtee refused to sign a new long-term contract at the Etihad because Guardiola couldn't guarantee him regular starts. Think about that for a moment. A player good enough for Manchester City's squad walking away from the best manager in world football because he backs himself to be a key player elsewhere. That elsewhere, the City ground. The fee is reported to be north of £20 million, potentially our record signing. But when you consider McAtee's profile, his age, his Premier League experience, and his ridiculous technical ability, this represents incredible value. The lad primarily operates as a number 10, the exact position where we've lacked that final bit of magic. But his versatility is what makes this signing genius level business. He can drift wide, drop deeper into midfield, basically float wherever Nuno needs creativity. Last season, despite limited minutes, McAtee showed exactly why City fast-tracked him to the first team. 7 goals from a player who barely started matches tells you everything about his clinical finishing. His loan spell at Sheffield United the season before? Absolutely electric. The kid doesn't just create chances, he scores them, he finishes them, he delivers in crucial moments. But here's the tactical masterstroke that has me genuinely excited. McAtee's arrival means we can finally play with that fluid front four we've been missing. Imagine him linking up with Morgan Gibbs-White, drifting behind our striker, creating space for our wingers to exploit. The passing combinations, the through balls, the late runs into the box, this is the missing piece of Nuno's attacking puzzle. Manchester City fans are gutted they're losing him, and you can understand why. The lad's been at the club since he was 8 years old, worked his way up through every youth level, impressed in training with world-class players every single day. For him to choose Forest, to choose guaranteed playing time over the comfort of staying at the Etihad, that says everything about his ambition and everything about our project under Nuno. What do you think? Is 20 million too much for a player with limited first-team experience? Or is this exactly the kind of ambitious signing that shows we mean business in Europe next season? Drop your thoughts below, because I genuinely want to hear where you stand on this. If you think McAtee is going to light up the Premier League in a Forest shirt, smash that like button right now. But if you thought that was impressive, wait until you hear about the winger we've just gazumped Leeds United for, and the fee that's got the championship side absolutely seething. Picture this, you're Leeds United, you've identified your perfect target, you've done the groundwork. The scouting reports are glowing, and you think you're in pole position. Then Forest comes swinging in like an absolute wrecking ball. Table a bid that blows everyone else out of the water, and suddenly your dream signing is heading to the City Ground instead of Elland Road. That's exactly what's happening with Delaine Bakwa. And Leeds fans are absolutely livid. The 23-year-old French winger from RC Strasbourg has been on Forest's radar all summer, but so have multiple Premier League clubs. Leeds thought they had the inside track. Arsenal was sniffing around, and several other top-flight sides were monitoring his situation. But when push came to shove, it's Forest who've stepped up with the serious money. We're talking about a £28 million deal here. 26 million euros plus 5 million in bonuses, according to Swiss journalist Sacha Tavolieri. Strasbourg initially rejected our first bid, but we've gone back in with numbers that are impossible to ignore. The French club are now seriously considering our offer, and all signs point to Bakwa choosing the Premier League over staying in Ligue 1. But why all the fuss over a player most casual fans have never heard of? Let me paint you a picture of what we're getting. Bakwa's rapid, absolutely electric pace that terrorizes fullbacks. He's equally devastating on either flank, cutting inside from the right or hugging the touchline on the left. In 66 appearances for Strasbourg, he's managed 11 goals and 18 assists. Those are serious numbers for a winger in one of Europe's top 5 leagues. The tactical flexibility is what makes his signing so smart. Nuno loves his wingers to drift inside, to create overloads in the center, to make those late runs into the box. Bakwa does all of that naturally. He's not just a traditional winger who stays wide and whips and crosses. He's a modern attacking player who can play 3 or 4 different positions across the front line. Leeds fans are beside themselves because they've been tracking him for months. They see him as the perfect replacement for their departing wingers, someone who could help them push for promotion back to the Premier League. Instead, they're watching him choose us, choose European football, choose the opportunity to test himself at the highest level immediately. The fee represents serious ambition from Forest. 28 million for a League One winger shows we're not messing about in this transfer window. We're not looking for bargains or loan deals. We're identifying quality players and paying what it takes to get them. That's the kind of statement that tells the football world we're here to stay at this level. But here's where it gets really interesting tactically. Bakwa's arrival could free up other moves. There have been whispers about Jota Silva potentially moving on, about reshuffling our entire wing structure. If we're spending this kind of money on Bakwa, it suggests Nuno has a very clear vision of how he wants us to play next season. The French connection at Forest is growing stronger too. We've already got players who can help him settle, a manager who appreciates technical players, and a fan base ready to embrace anyone who shows commitment to the badge. Bakwa wouldn't be coming here for an easy ride. He'd be coming to prove himself in the best league in the world. Are you excited about the prospect of Bakwa tearing down Premier League flanks in a Forest shirt? Do you think 28 million is money well spent, or should we be focusing on other positions first? Let me know in the comments. Your opinions matter. And if you want to see more ambitious signings like this, hit that like button and show the algorithm that Forest fans are ready for European football. But speaking of making statements, there's a certain Sky Sports pundit who's found himself completely frozen out of the City Ground. And the reason why will shock you. There are feuds in football, and then there are all-out wars that split the entire sport down the middle. What's happening between Nottingham Forest and Gary Neville right now? This is scorched earth territory, and the implications go far beyond one pundit getting his press credentials revoked. The Gary Neville situation has escalated to the point where Sky Sports themselves are caught in the crossfire, and Forest are demanding nothing short of a public climb down before they even consider letting him back through the city ground doors. It all started with that Leicester match last season. You remember the one. Taiwo Awoniyi suffered a serious abdominal injury that required surgery. The game was tense. Emotions were running high. Our owner, Evangelos Marinakis, came onto the pitch to check on the situation with Nuno. Standard behavior from any concerned owner, you'd think. But Neville, he saw something completely different. On social media, he posted, "Scandalous from that Forest owner. Nuno should go and negotiate his exit tonight with him. The Forest fans, players, and manager do not deserve that." Scandalous. He accused Marinakis of being furious with Nuno, of creating some kind of sideline drama, of undermining our manager in public. The problem? Neville got it completely wrong. He rushed to judgment without knowing the facts, without understanding the context, without realizing that our owner was actually showing concern for an injured player. Classic punditry. See something, assume the worst. Tweet first, ask questions never. Forest's response was absolutely devastating. The club issued a statement condemning the fake news and baseless, ill-informed outrage for the purposes of personal social media traction. They didn't just defend Marinakis, they went after the entire culture of punditry that prioritizes clicks over accuracy. Did Neville apologize? Did he hold his hands up and admit he jumped the gun? Not a chance. On his podcast, he doubled down with a sarcastic, "Sorry, Mr. Marinakis," delivered in the most mocking tone imaginable. The audacity was breathtaking, but this isn't even the first time these two have clashed. Back in April 2024, Neville accused Forest of acting like a mafia gang during our disputes with Premier League refereeing standards. A mafia gang! For having the temerity to question dodgy decisions that were costing us points and potentially our Premier League status. Marinakis threatened legal action over that comment, and Sky Sports were forced to issue an apology for the language used. They admitted the wording was offensive and could cause harm. But here we are again, same pundit, same pattern of behavior, same refusal to show basic respect for our club. The current situation is crystal clear, according to The Guardian. Neville faces no official ban, but there's absolutely no expectation he'll be accommodated at the city ground. Forest are demanding assurances that he'll show greater restraint in future commentary about Marinakis before they even consider changing their stance. Think about what this means for the wider relationship between clubs and media. Forest aren't just standing up to one pundit, they're challenging the entire ecosystem that allows former players to make inflammatory comments without consequences. They're saying enough is enough to the culture of social media outrage that prioritizes viral moments over accurate reporting. Some fans think the club are being petty, that we should just ignore Neville's comments and move on. But I disagree completely. This is about respect, about accuracy, about holding people accountable for the platform they've been given. Neville has millions of followers. His words carry weight, and with that influence comes responsibility. The fact that Sky Sports are caught in the middle makes this even more fascinating. They need access to clubs for their coverage, but they also need to back their pundits. It's a delicate balancing act, and Forest are making it clear they won't be pushed around. Where do you stand on this? Should Forest forgive and forget, or are they right to demand higher standards from pundits? Do you think Neville's comments were out of line, or just robust analysis? I want to hear from you in the comments. If you think Forest are right to stand their ground against unfair media treatment, hit that like button right now. But from controversy to opportunity, there's a Liverpool left back who could be on his way to the city ground, and the timing couldn't be more perfect. Sometimes in football, timing is absolutely everything. A player falls down the pecking order at exactly the moment you need reinforcements. A club decides to cash in just when you got money to spend. Opportunity knocks precisely when you're ready to answer. That's exactly what's happening with Kostas Tsimikas and Nottingham Forest right now. The Greek international left back is available for transfer from Liverpool this summer, and according to The Athletic, we're among the clubs showing serious interest. This isn't just idle speculation. Liverpool are actively looking to move him on, and Forest are ready to provide the solution. Here's the context that makes this deal so intriguing. Tsimikas has been a solid, reliable squad player at Anfield for years. 115 appearances for Liverpool. Always professional, never caused problems. Stepped up whenever Andy Robertson needed a rest. But football is ruthless, and Liverpool's summer business has pushed him further down the hierarchy than ever before. They've brought in Milos Kerkez to compete with Robertson, which means Tsimikas has gone from being the clear backup to potentially third choice. At 29 years old, earning £80,000 per week, he can't afford to spend another season watching from the sidelines. The lad wants regular football, and who can blame him? Arne Slot has made his position brutally clear. Tsimikas wasn't even in the squad for the Community Shield against Crystal Palace. That's not rotation, that's not tactical tweaking, that's a manager telling a player his future lies elsewhere. When you're completely omitted from a showcase match like that, the writing's on the wall. For Forest, this represents incredible value in the market. We're talking about a player with Champions League experience, Premier League proven quality, international caps for Greece, and the kind of reliability that championship chasing teams desperately need. Our European campaign demands squad depth, and Tsimikas brings exactly that. The tactical fit makes perfect sense too. We lost Alex Moreno when his loan from Aston Villa ended, Harry Toffolo departed at the end of his contract, and suddenly we're looking at Nico Williams and Ola Aina as our primary defensive options. Both are versatile players who can cover multiple positions, but having a specialist left back who's operated at the highest level. That's squad building 101. Tsimikas brings something different to what we currently have. He's defensively solid, rarely makes mistakes, provides consistent delivery from wide areas, and has the engine to get up and down the flank for 90 minutes. Not the most exciting signing on paper, perhaps, but exactly the kind of professional footballer who wins you points over a long, grueling season. The financial aspect makes this even more attractive. Liverpool want to move him on, which means they won't be demanding silly money. For a player of his experience and reliability, we're probably looking at a fee well below his actual market value. Nah, that's smart business in anyone's book. There's also the European angle to consider. Tsimikas has played in the biggest matches football has to offer. Champions League finals, title deciders, massive pressure situations. When we're preparing for Europa League football, having players who've been there and done that becomes invaluable. The experience he'd bring to our dressing room could be worth as much as his on-field contributions. Leeds United were previously linked, but recent reports suggest they're not pursuing a deal. That leaves the door open for us to strike, to add proven Premier League quality without breaking the bank. It's the kind of signing that might not generate massive excitement on social media, but wins you points when it matters. The Greek connection could help too. Football is often about making players feel comfortable, helping them settle quickly, and Tsimikas will be joining a club that values loyalty and commitment above flashy signings. What's your take on potentially signing Tsimikas? Do you think he'd be a smart addition to our squad? Or should we be looking for younger, more attacking options? Are you excited about adding Liverpool's experience to our European campaign? Let me know in the comments below. If you think Forest are building something special with these smart targeted signings, hit that like button right now. The pieces are falling into place for something truly special at the City ground. But what does all this mean for our season ahead? Vaartje Part 6, conclusion, 4,500 characters. So there you have it, Tricky Trees faithful, 4 seismic developments that paint a picture of a club absolutely refusing to stand still. This isn't just another transfer window. This is Forest making a statement about exactly where we see ourselves in the football hierarchy. Think about the ambition on display here. McAtee from Manchester City for 20 million plus. Bakwa from Strasbourg for 28 million. Potential moves for proven Premier League quality like Tsimikas. These aren't the signings of a club hoping to survive. These are the moves of a side preparing to thrive in European competition. The McAtee deal is the headline grabber, and rightly so. When you can convince a player to walk away from Pep Guardiola's project to join yours, that tells you everything about the trajectory of this football club. The lad could have stayed at City, picked up medals, enjoyed the safety of being part of the best squad in England. Instead, he's chosen the challenge, chosen to be a key player rather than a squad option, chosen to bet on Nuno's vision. Bakwa represents something different but equally important. The global scouting network that's identifying talent before it becomes unaffordable. 28 million for a League One winger shows we're not waiting for players to prove themselves in the Premier League first. We're backing our judgment, trusting our analysis, and moving decisively when opportunities arise. The Gary Neville situation might seem like a sideshow, but it's actually crucial to understanding where we are as a club. Forest are no longer accepting disrespectful treatment from pundits who think they can say whatever they want without consequences. We're demanding higher standards, better accuracy, more professionalism from people with massive platforms. That's not being sensitive, that's being smart. And Tsimikas, that's just good, sensible squad building. Not every signing needs to be a 20-goal winger or a world-class centre-back. Sometimes you need experienced professionals who understand what it takes to compete at the highest level. Europa League football demands depth, and players like Tsimikas provide exactly that. But here's what excites me most about all these developments. They show a club with a clear plan. This isn't random scattergun spending. Every potential signing addresses a specific need, fills a particular role, strengthens us in areas where we've been lacking. The technical quality of McAtee, the pace and power of Bakwa, the reliability of Tsimikas, it all fits together perfectly. The message to the rest of the Premier League is unmistakable. Nottingham Forest are here to stay, and we're building something sustainable. Not just for this season, but for years to come. European football isn't a one-off achievement for us. It's the new normal we're establishing. What does this mean for our expectations this season? Top half of the table should be the minimum now. With this level of investment, this quality of player, this clear tactical direction from Nuno, anything less than a strong mid-table finish would be disappointing. European qualification again, absolutely achievable. The City ground is going to be rocking this season, and with good reason. We've got legitimate reasons to be excited, genuine cause for optimism, and the kind of squad depth that makes long campaigns manageable. So what do you think defines success for Forest this season? Is it European qualification again, a cup run, or something even more ambitious? And which of these potential signings excites you most? The creativity of McAtee, the pace of Bakwa, or the experience of Tsimikas? Hit that like button if you think Forest are building something truly special. Drop a comment with your predictions for where we'll finish this season, and make sure you're subscribed, because trust me, this is just the beginning of what promises to be an absolutely incredible campaign. The revolution at the City ground is in full swing, and you won't want to miss a single moment of what comes next.